Welcome to the studios, the Pet Shop Boys. Chris Lowe, hello.
Hello.
And Neil Tennant, hello.
Hello.
How are you both?
Fine, thank you. We're a bit busy at the moment.
Yeah, you got a little show to rehearse, haven't you?
Yes, we're busy in the thick of rehearsals.
How long does it... I mean, I know this is going to be a big world tour, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on, even though Chris doesn't want to. But how long does it take to actually rehearse? From like the day you think, right, let's have a tour, to the day it's ready to go out?
Well, we've had... we were originally going to have 9 weeks rehearsals, but then we kind of streamlined it a bit, and so we've had... we're in the 5th week of rehearsals now.
Just as somebody who's curious and completely ignorant, having never been on a tour in my life, apart from the Radio on Road show, which is not like usual tours, how do you go about deciding? Do you just sort of have a vision of how you want this particular tour to be? And then you think, who will do it? And you try and talk to them, and they do it all, or...
Yeah, we had that idea that we wanted a very theatrical show and that, and we're familiar with the work of this designer and this director who worked for the English National Opera, and we liked that their kind of productions, which were really kind of weird and very graphic and very strange, and we thought they would be really good for the kind of thing we wanted to put on. So we approached them, and they were keen to do it.
Working with these two guys from the English National Opera, their starting point is the music, and they kind of regard that as the score. And so we made a tape. We decided what songs to play, and we made a tape of it. And then they went away and thought about it and came up with a set design and a sort of scenario. And we spent quite a long time working with them on that, changing it, making it actually feasible to tour. Because of course, if you do an opera at the Colosseum or somewhere, you just it's all in that one theatre. You've got to have a production that you can take to Japan and to America, into different sizes of venues, and so that the actual practicalities of it take really a long time.
So how many people are involved in the whole rolling circus that goes on?
I think there's about 42 people involved, but altogether there's 17 people on stage, 10 dancers,
right,
3 backing singers, and 2 extra musicians.
What are they playing?
One of them is our programmer, who also plays keyboards.
Right.
And also we have JJ Bell, who's a guitarist, who's played on quite a few of our records. So he's there with us as well. I
read in some recent magazine interview you did that, Chris, you were bored with standing behind your keyboard and you wanted to come out now. And, in a manner of speaking. And I wondered if that was true, if you were gonna dance about and be a bit of a rock and roller and...
Yeah, but I've discovered I can't do that. So I don't do anything in this show.
You're not actually there.
No, I'm just not even behind the keyboard this time. Yeah, that's true, because the thing is, when you program all the music, there's really no kind of strong reason to play anything at all, because even if you come up with another line to play, that one could be programmed as well.
Right.
And so you find that you're kind of gratuitously just playing stuff, right, just for the sake of it. And also you do get trapped behind the keyboard, and it's quite nice to just free yourself from that, and you can just get involved more in the action and stuff that's going on. I do play the keyboard in a few songs.
Now, the last production, the Derek Jarman one, was very, very theatrical. I'm just wondering how on earth you're going to top it.
This just is theatrical. It's not like it's theatrical. It has...
Is it more like going to the theatre than it is going to a pop concert?
It is, yeah. For instance, the way the lighting is done is it's lit it's not just thousands of fairy lights all flashing on and off in the choruses. And we have a lot of sets and costumes, and
a lot of wigs.
A lot of wigs. There's a man actually the man on the tour who has to set 29 wigs every day. Because there's 2 scenes where everyone wears wigs. And,
do you like that aspect of it, all the dressing up and the makeup and the wig?
I like it because it's easier, because it's less like it's you.
Right. Do you find it easier to be somebody else on stage rather than be your old self?
It makes you feel much more comfortable with the situation. That it's not just you're not being yourself, sort of thing, not totally being yourself. You're kind of play acting to a certain extent, and I think we feel more comfortable with that sort of approach. When we've always felt with our kind of music, which is not fundamentally a live form of music, as Chris was saying, it's based on programming. It doesn't come out of a live situation. That what we do live should be some kind of event, and that's what the Derek Jarman tour was, and that's what this show is.
Now, obviously, you're a very successful pop band worldwide, but obviously you'd like to continue being successful. When you plan a tour like this, do you also incorporate, is this going to appeal to our young record-buying public? I mean, is this going to dumbfound a 10-year-old coming to see the Pet Shop Boys in concert? I mean, is it going to be a little bit beyond them?
I imagine it'll be a bit like going to see a Christmas pantomime or something if you're 10 years old.
So it's not going to be overly sophisticated?
Actually, it's quite. I think a lot of it is funny. It's practically, it verges on being a musical comedy. I think because there's some really, really funny bits in it. We have 8 classically trained dancers, but we also have 2 what you might call street dancers,
Right.
who are quite young. They're 16 and 18, and they have a fantastic personality, and they have some kind of humorous moments in it. And I also think a lot of what Chris and I do is unintentionally funny anyway. So we've kind of capitalised on that aspect of it. I think you can just look at it as a kind of spectacle, and you can think, wow, because I mean, our starting point is not intellectual at all. Our starting point is that we want something exciting to be happening all the time.
Right.
And I think that aspect of it means it can appeal to anyone. It's not an incredible. I mean, it's sophisticated in the way it's produced and everything, directed. But in fact, in terms of watching it, it's. I mean, the idea is that it's really, really enjoyable. That's what we've set out to do.
We talked about the tour a little bit. Now we've also got a little bit, hopefully, of a competition. If you'll go along with it here, you've added some extra shows to the world tour. You're going everywhere, aren't you? You're starting in Japan in March, and you don't actually get to the UK till June.
Yeah, the only place we're not going is Australia.
Is there any reason for that?
We're not very popular there.
Aren't you? Really?
Apparently not. We've never been there. We have a kind of downward spiral in Australia. We don't go there because we're not very popular there. So because we never go there, we're less popular.
So you just avoid it altogether.
But we really wanted to go this time, but the show is so expensive to travel.
Right.
And Australia is a long way from anywhere. One always thinks that kind of Australia is more just down the road from Japan, but in fact it's
a long way.
It's many thousands of miles. And we actually couldn't, it didn't unfortunately make any financial sense to go there. So.
Which country in the world are you most successful in? Do you know?
Britain, Germany, and Brazil.
Brazil?
In Brazil, when we had the album Introspective, it became EMI's best-selling album ever. It overtook Abbey Road by the Beatles.
My goodness.
And became, it sold a phenomenal amount of copies in Brazil, and we've never been to Brazil, but we may, although it's not on the tour itinerary at the moment, we may be going after Britain and Ireland when we're going to Brazil and Argentina.
So you're doing a few dates in Japan. I think you're doing about 40 days in America. And Europe, I love this list of Europe. I mean, all the usual places like, Vienna and Stuttgart, Zurich. Bratislava. Are the Pet Shop Boys big in Bratislava?
Well, in Eastern Europe, we have had a following for quite a long time, even in Russia.
Is that a black market? It must be.
Yeah,
I guess,
it is. Yeah. Hungary, it's not. Hungary, they release the records officially. Poland, EMI sent us all these figures, and we discovered that our album had sold 100,000 copies in Poland.
Good grief.
And I know our fan club gets loads of letters from Poland. And also in Russia it's all black market. But we several years ago they had the first ever exchange visit of school children from Russia, and they went and stayed in Guildford. And they asked who they wanted to meet in Britain, and they wanted to meet us. Amazingly
That's nice,
surprisingly.
isn't it?
And they all had bootleg videos and
That's
cassettes
nice.
and everything.
That's lovely. Okay, I'm just going to quickly read out the dates that you're doing in the UK. Starting in June, on the 1st, you're in Birmingham for 3 nights. Wednesday the 5th, you're in Whitley Bay. Friday the 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th, you're in London at Wembley Arena. Thursday the 13th in Belfast and Friday the 14th in Dublin. The extra shows are in May, Wednesday the 27th, Blackpool Opera House. Hopefully we're going to get some tickets off you for that one.
Yeah.
Tuesday the 28th at Glasgow SECC, 29th in Aberdeen, June the 1st Birmingham, 2nd and 3rd also Birmingham, the 5th, that's Wednesday the 5th of June, Whitley Bay Ice Rink, and the 7th, 8th and 9th of June you're at Wembley Arena. Friday the 7th is your extra show there. Are we going to get some tickets off you, do you think, for a little competition?
Yeah, actually, why not?
Sell you a few.
Obviously the businessman in the group, Chris. Thank you and goodbye.
I think we've got some front row seats for
all the extra shows.
For all of those extra shows. How many shows is that?
That's
5. For 5 extra shows. So
we need a question.
We need
though.
a bit of a question for competition, don't we?
What do you think, Chris? Chris did offer one earlier on, but I don't think we can use that one.
It was quite a good one. Perhaps who did the remix of the B-side of our last single?
Who did the remix of the B-side of your last single?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Write to me and put down what show you'd like to go. Again, there's a Blackpool, Glasgow, Aberdeen, Birmingham and London, Wembley Arena. Put down which show you'd like to go to and we'll make sure that a pair of front row tickets, we'll give those away for each of the extra shows. Okay, now we're going to move on to the new single. Now, you've done a cover version before that was very successful, Always on My Mind, old Elvis Presley number, got to number 1 for 4 weeks, I think it was. The Christmas number 1. And you've just done another cover version, a very brave move, many would say. It's a cover of U2's hit Where the Streets Have No Name. Please explain. Please explain why.
Well, I said I wasn't going to answer this on the way here.
How did you?
Oh, don't be awkward.
It was your idea.
It was Chris's idea, was it?
It was Chris's idea.
No, I thought it was a good idea, but the other thing was to put a U2 song into a pop context because
you've also
rock music has such a kind of thing around it, a kind of an importance and
right.
a myth around it, and it was just the idea of taking a song and putting it into a pop dance context and seeing how that changes people's interpretation of the song.
Because you've been a bit irreverent. U2 fans aren't going to be pleased that you've put Andy Williams' Can't Take My Eyes Off of You into kind of the middle of it, haven't you? You kind of, it's a bit of a mix.
We had the idea of doing this U2 song really when the song first came out. And I remember when it came out, Chris pointed out that even the way the U2 version is, the drum rhythm sounds a bit like it gives it a slightly high energy feel.
Right.
And we thought what a great high energy record it would make. And in fact, when we were recording I'm Not Scared with Patsy Kensit, we had the idea that if we were asked to do the follow-up, we would maybe do this with her. And then we were singing it to someone, saying how you could do it with a high energy rhythm. And we kind of went into da 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 because the tune is very slightly similar. And we thought that would be, again, it is obviously an irreverent idea, but that's part of the point of it, because you two are surrounded with such a sort of atmosphere of reverence, and they have such a strong myth and such a strong mythic way of presenting themselves, that I think it's nice to cut through all that.
Do you think it's very thought out, or do you think it's just them as Madonna is her? Do you think it's just you two being them, or do you think it's a very
I think it's a mixture of both. I think it's them, and I think it has to be thought out because it's done on such a big scale.
It's not really specifically U2, it's just the way that rock is regarded as an important musical form, whereas pop dance isn't. It's kind of just regarded as a load of trash throwaway. And I don't think either of those things is true. It's just all music, really. But it's not so much how the public perceives it, it's rock critics, particularly in America, that annoy us,
Do you think they're going to have kittens about this one?
I don't know.
You hope so.
Maybe I do hope so. But the medley really works. And once you get used to it, you stop thinking about it as being two songs. I'm so used to it now, I just think of it...
When I first heard it, I didn't really notice the change until...
No, could we changed the keys and stuff, so it really flows into it very well. It's not... like a sort of Stars on 45 medley.
Thank goodness.
And also I think it makes a really exciting dance pop record, whatever you want to call it.
Did you have to go and ask the U2 chaps?
We didn't think we did, because people record our songs and they don't ask permission.
Right.
But I think when something's a medley, you have to ask for permission. And anyway, U2 were sent a tape of the song. We discovered this when it was finished, and in fact, I think it was being pressed at the time. And U2 was sent a copy of it. I think they were in Los Angeles. I think possibly they're still there. And they did actually give permission.
So did any word come back whether they approved? Well, obviously they must have done. They must have done.
There's no comment, but they approved it. I think they were a bit knocked because their publishers had approved it without telling them or something. And anyway, they heard it and they approved it, which is very sporting of them. So
that's going to be on. That's a double A side with How Can You Expect to Be Taken Seriously?
It is, yes, and we've which is the Brothers in Rhythm remix we heard earlier, and also we've done 2 videos for it, and the videos are kind of linked together. Really? What is it? An extra long video, or? Yeah, it makes it. I mean, it can be 2 videos as well, right? But it's it makes it into a sort of 8-minute video with the same people in both videos. Okay, well, perhaps we could scrounge from you a copy of videos as well for our winners. Would that be all right? Definitely, as well as front row tickets? The full, am I pushing my luck? No. So there'll be, yes, we can get copies of that, the full 8-minute epic. Okay, well, thank you very much indeed for taking the time out from your rehearsals to come in here. Are you looking forward to the tour, or do you hate it? No, the last one, I mean, the reason we've done this one is because we enjoyed the last one. Because quite surprised, before the last one, you were dreading it, weren't you? You thought this is going to be dull and horrible and tiring. Yeah, but it's kind of, I know it sounds bad, right, but all the kind of adulation and stuff, it's really like good. Oh, yeah, an honest pop star. How nice, that's lovely. Also, it's a very, this show, we've always wanted to do. We originally had the idea for doing this show when West End Girls was out in 1986. We even met the same director and the designer.
Right.
And it's fulfilling an ambition as well to do the show. We've always, if you looked at the press release from 5 years ago, it said the Pet Shop Boys were planning a theatrical show.
Right.
And I think it's great to actually fulfill the ambition. And it's definitely, it's a very enjoyable and exciting show to do. There's a lot of things to think about all the way through it.
Well, certainly looking forward to seeing you in concert. You'll be around this way, sort of beginning of June, and I won't be in the front row seats, of course, because our winners will have those tickets. But I'll be somewhere waving frantically.
You're in the VIP area.
Oh, bless you.
As long as you're not in the bar.
Thank you, Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe.
Thank you,
See ya.
Jackie.